Hi, I'm Ms. Weimer, one of the student advisors with the Blue Water Middle College, and this is video 1 of 3, where we are going to show you how to select your classes, register for your classes, and then confirm your registration. In this video, we'll specifically be going through some pieces of the wave and showing you how to find the classes that you need, work with Schedule Planner, and then get your classes set up. So first, you will be doing everything in your SC4 portal. So if you have not logged in, this is what that looks like. And we have kind of just a fake account here, and we'll show you kind of the bits and pieces that you'll be using. One of the first things is that you'll always be working in the wave for most of your stuff that is specific to you. So later on in your time at SC4, or really at any college, you'll be able to see kind of your financial aid, different books, things like that. But mainly as a middle college student, you'll be working in registration, your academic profile, and your academic planning. So later on, I'm going to go through the pieces of the registration that you see here. We're going to work with Schedule Planner, and then I'll show you how to find your classes by searching, and then the different options that you have to search. I'll, in another video, show you how to manage your wait list if you end up having to register for something that's already full, and then wait list. And but more specifically, we're going to talk a bit about the stuff that's in here, because we reference this stuff a lot. We ask you to look at your early alert grades. Those are all here under view grades. Later on, you may want to look at what your transcript is for your SC4 classes. You can view that here. Later on in this registration process, we'll ask you to go to your View Print My Class Schedule. That's how you're going to confirm that you are actually registered as you think you are. And then in academic planning, there are some things you can use here. You can look at what classes are needed for the degree that you have said that you are pursuing. So for example, if you are pursuing the Associate of Arts, there's a report that you can run in here where it will show you specifically what you have left to get that degree completed. The important thing that we'll be using in this whole registration process is that each semester before you are allowed to register, you must verify your academic program. That's basically confirming whatever you have said that your major is, or your program of study. So if you are pursuing the business transfer, and you basically will go in there and say, yep, that's still it. So we'll show you how to do that as part of the process. But let's go back to the beginning. And okay, so the internet kicked me out for a second, and we're going to start back from this home page. So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to do some searching and kind of playing around with different time commitments that you have, seeing what classes you're interested in, and we're going to do that through the Schedule Planner. This tool is pretty awesome. You can put in breaks for different time commitments you have, and then it'll basically just work around what you have and then show you some options that are available. So it's pretty self-explanatory, but you're going to select the winter 2016 term, save and continue, and now you're in here. So you can basically make things as specific as you need to, but I'll show you some ways to kind of narrow your search but not make it so specific that nothing comes up as an option. So the course status, obviously you just want open classes. Parts of the term, we're going to include everything. There are some late starts, shorter classes, and we're going to just leave it open to see everything come up. Winter 2016 is where we're going to look. And the campuses, you can narrow it, and we're going to actually narrow it to include just online classes and Port Huron classes. But obviously, if you are close to one of these other schools, then you should include that as well. So here is where we can start to add classes that you're interested in taking, along with breaks. Let's start with the breaks, because that's where a lot of you, and I'm kind of going to work this as if we're talking to 11th graders, but 12th graders know you're not allowed to take classes at the college until afternoon because of your high school commitments. And for 11th graders, you can take classes starting at 1 o'clock. So we're going to put in high school as a time frame that you're not able to schedule classes. So the earliest this will allow you to do anything is 8 a.m. to, then it goes latest as 10 p.m. But specifically, we're going to just add this morning. So Monday through Friday, you're not able to be here before 1 p.m. Now, if we just put in 1 p.m. as the end time, it wouldn't actually include those 1 p.m. classes. So we are going to back it up a little bit, and let's say you'd be able to be here by 12:45. That will include the 1 p.m. classes in your search. So that is our first break. Not able to be here mornings until 1 p.m. And then let's say you've got Tuesday night, you work from 5 to 9. So you're for sure not going to be able to have night classes. So you can just say, I work Tuesday nights. Or maybe it's Tuesdays and Thursdays. But we'll just add Tuesday nights. So you can kind of see that it'll take all of those Tuesday night classes off of your options. So we're going to leave that for now. But any kind of time commitments that you have, you should put in here as breaks, as time that you're not able to be here, not able to take classes. And then over here, we're going to add the courses that you're interested in taking. So let's say English 101 is one of them. And we'll add that. So that's going to be on our list when we go back there. And let's see, another common class that people are taking right now is speech. Okay, so let's say that you are an 11th grader and you're just taking those 2 classes. Okay, so you'll go back. Those are on your list as the classes that you're looking at. We've got the breaks. So now we're going to hit Generate Schedules. So this is saying you've got 25 different options to choose from. And you can actually go in and narrow things down even further if you'd prefer. And I'm seeing right here, this is where we're going to talk a little bit about what all these numbers mean. So this particular schedule, English 101, Section 13, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 to 2:15. Speech 101, Section 8 is Monday, Wednesday, 1 to 2:15. So this is a good option if you're local and you just want to come and get it over with every day. You'll be here Monday through Thursday. This here are the different pieces of what those classes are. So the subject is English. The course is 101. So English 101 is that English Comp 1 or whatever the official title is. The section number is what is specifying this specific time and day and where it's at and who the teacher is. We've heard kind of some misconceptions of people wanting to register for section 1 or 2 because somewhere along the way someone told them that the higher the section, the more difficult the class. That is not true. English 101 is going to be pretty much the same across the board. It'll obviously vary depending on your teacher, but for the most part you're going to be covering similar things. This synonym, SYN number, that's the synonym. It's a 4-digit number that is saying specifically English 101 Section 13. It's just kind of another shortcut that once you select your classes, we can go back and just enter that into Express Registration. So we're going to go back to the schedules that we had, and I'll show you kind of some specific stuff. So when you see a class where a section number is a 60 or in the 60s, 60, 61, those are online sections. And that's an option. Definitely middle college students are able to take online classes. And in some cases, if you're coming from far away, that's a great option to include. But you really need to make sure that you're ready and capable and are pretty savvy with the internet in order to be able to take an online class. And then there's a specific requirement that you have to complete in order to register for an online class. It's called Web 99, and I will show you how to register for that, if that is something you're interested in. But like I said, really think that over, talk with your parents. We have a lot of students register and take online classes and think that you only just have to turn stuff in once a week. Sometimes that's true, but if you are not on top of it, you can get behind pretty quickly. and sometimes it's just not a great option. You also don't have access to a teacher talking one-on-one. The teachers are usually available by email, and sometimes they're not available right when you need them, and so there's a lot of things to consider. But we'll go back, and let's say that we're not really ready for that. So we're going to take that option off of the table. So you can go here to Options under English 101, and you can kind of remove some of that stuff that you know maybe isn't a good idea for you. So let's say we're going to go to the second screen and specifically take off 60 and 61, those sections off of the table. And then while you're here, maybe you know, we already said we couldn't come on Tuesday nights, so that actually will come off of there and won't be included in our search. But maybe there's, actually, we're going to leave that and save and close. So we've just taken the online sections off of there. But this is where you can also, if you know for certain that maybe there's an instructor that you've heard, you know, is maybe not going to work for you, or whatever the case, you can remove specific sections. Or let's see, another example, sometimes there are Friday sections, and I know not everybody's into that, but here's another case where we've got another online class, so we're going to take that off of there too. Now specifically the online class for speech sounds strange, but you're doing most of the work outside of the class, online, submitting your tests and your quizzes that way, assignments, but you're still going once a week to give the speeches and watch your classmates do that as well. So that's something to think about. Alright, so we've taken the online sections off of there, narrowed it down a little bit. So we're going to hit this generate schedules again, and now we're narrowed down to 15 options. So we can look and see, you can kind of see how it's broken down here, that you've got your times. The purple sections are where you've put your breaks in to say that you can't be here. And then the green stripe and the blue stripe are just one of the two classes. So if you want to just kind of look at a glance for things, that's a quick, fast way to do that. Now, all of these have the two classes, but if you look here, you only have those green. So what happened to the other class is the question. So here's where you want to look. This is saying the weeks and when it starts. So this is telling me this speech class doesn't start until week 5. So once that starts, here's what your schedule looks like. You have your English class, and then speech is a little bit later on the opposite days. So this is something that you want to keep in mind. It shows you that this class starts as a late start. It will start that first week of February. That's an option to take. Sometimes there's pros and cons. A pro would be that you've got a few weeks to kind of get into the rhythm in your English class and get going and have a good fresh start there, and then you start your speech class a little bit later. The downside of that is that you're kind of getting used to this easier schedule for 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden, sometimes people also forget that they have a late start. So again, there are pros and cons, and if you have any questions, you should come in and talk to one of us in the office. So we're going to go back to our list of options, and let's just say this first one, this is actually a great ideal schedule for middle college students. So we're going to say this is the one we're going to do. So you would basically write down your subject, course, section, or the synonym. So we know that 4523 is English 101 section 13, and 4963 is Speech 101 section 8. So you can now say we've figured out our options from the schedule planner, and we're going to go back to the portal and actually register for that. So if you click back to registration, and this happens a lot. Okay, so that happens a lot where it kicks us out if you haven't been active in the portal. It's kind of for your security, and sometimes it's just sort of an internet thing that it gets sick of waiting for you. So you're going to go back to this register for classes. And then now that we know the synonym and our specific course number and section, we can go to express registration. All right, we had some technical difficulties with registering on that last login. So we now are in as Mrs. Barr, and we're going to register her for some awesome stuff. So as I said, now that you know your course number, your section number, and then that 4-digit synonym, you can go directly to Express Registration. So we're going to do that, and I will show you what you need to enter here. So you could just simply put in that 4523 that was your synonym and the winter term and hit submit, and it would be fine. If you just happen to know, for example, the other class was the speech, so we could just say speech 101 section 8, I think it was, for winter. And we can just hit submit, and it'll pull both of those for us. We can go either way, with the synonym or with the sections. And it looks like Mrs. Barr was already kind of registering for some classes, which is very strange. So we're going to look at this here. Once you have selected some classes, this is the preferred sections. This is the thing I will be referencing several times because it is by far the biggest mistake that people make in registration. Preferred sections does not mean that you are registered and set up for these classes. It's like a shopping cart, and until you actually click on these classes and hit submit, you are not registered. Another way to know if you are registered is to look under current registrations. You are not currently registered for any sections. So there's a lot of ways to see that your registration has not gone through. So Mrs. Barr is actually a great example here that maybe you've got a list of some options here. And this is going to be as far as we're going to be able to go until registration opens on Monday, November 2nd. So the way that you would do this, if we were all set, is we chose that Tuesday, Thursday, 1 to 2:15. So we're going to register for that one. And Monday, Wednesday, 1 to 2:15. And we're going to register for that one. We're going to remove these other sections because those are the ones that we decided not to do. Or basically, you can't come that early if you're an 11th grader. And you would click submit. Here's where you're going to run into the issues. So it's saying that Mrs. Barr actually needs to submit this application. This is not a very big red flag, I guess, but these are where your errors will come up. So her particular error is saying that she's not allowed to register because it's been too long since she's taken classes here and she needs to reapply. This is where you would find out if you have prerequisites that you have not met, if you haven't submitted your program of study. There's a lot of different errors that will come up here. But as you can see, it didn't do anything that we said we wanted to do because of that one error. So we're going to leave these on the preferred sections. Those are the sections we want. And we're going to get rid of these other sections just so you can see what happens. So you click submit. Those have been removed. It's been removed from preferred sections. And if you go back to this register and drop screen, this is where you can still see what's there in your preferred sections. So one other thing we're going to look at really quick is the other ways to look and register for your classes. So if you were just to use this search and register, there's another whole search option you have. If you know for sure which classes you want and you don't have a lot of time commitments, you can do this instead of Schedule Planner. You're going to select the term. You don't really need to specify a lot of stuff here other than English 101. The course level isn't really applicable here. There's not a lot of options there. Most of the stuff you're going to be doing is 100 level at first. The only thing here is that you're looking for sections meeting after 1, but we're going to say 12 so that we can include sections that start at 1. And we're good with any day of the week, so we're going to leave that open. And let's say we're just looking on this main Port Huron campus. So this is going to bring everything up, starting with those 1 o'clock sections. So these are all of the English 101 sections that are available on the Port Huron campus after 1 o'clock. So you would just select the class that you're interested in. I believe that's actually the section we already have in our preferred section. So let's try this other one, let's say we want to do Monday, Wednesday at 1:30. So you click to select it and hit submit. And that one is now added to our preferred sections. So as you can probably see, this is highlighting. These are links here. And this is the specific class, section, synonym, and the class name. You can click on that, and this brings up all of the information about this particular class. What is going to be covered, how many credits, start and end dates, the last date to drop, which is always just that first Friday of the semester. The last day to drop with a W, which we've talked about in the past. Where it's at, the time, dates, the prerequisites, the books that you're going to be using. Anytime it says required, those are books that we will provide and have here, and you'll pick them up. And then at the very bottom is who the instructor is, their email address. This is a big handy thing to know, because there are some times where maybe you need to ask for a prerequisite to be waived, or you just kind of want to reach out to this instructor even before class starts. That's an option. But this is where kind of all of the information is in one place. So we can close out of there, and I think this is actually all we're going to cover for this first video. So thank you for watching, and the second video will show how to actually register for Web 99, a few other things. And then after registration opens on Monday, we're going to have a third video that shows kind of the final stuff, like how you go from these preferred sections to actually registering and then confirming that you're registered. So thank you very much. Hopefully the other videos won't be quite so long. Thanks.